Now, on Sunrise and streaming on CrossroadsToday.com, it appears a ground invasion on Gaza is imminent as Israeli forces move in on the Gaza border. We have more on the turmoil brewing in the Middle East. And as the attacks continue to intensify between Israel and Hamas, President Biden has accepted Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's invitation to visit war-torn Israel. We're following the latest. Turning now to the crossroads, 3 people who kidnapped a child over the weekend are in police custody. We'll tell you how the incident unfolded and the charges the suspects are facing this morning.
And we're going to be taking a look at those heating up temperatures as the dry line approaches on Thursday as we take a look at the weather coming right up.
Game 2 of the Lone Star Showdown. I'll have that coming up in sports.
You're watching 25 News Now Sunrise. Good morning and thank you for joining us. I'm Carolina Astrain.
And I'm Parker Cox.
And today it's the 17th day of October 2023. The time is now 6:31 on our Tuesday morning. And today, if you're a golf fan, you'll know what this means. It's National Mulligan Day. So Parker is new to the term.
Yes, she actually just explained it to me right before the break.
So it's an opportunity for a do-over. So if you have a bad shot, or putt, whatever that term is in golf, you get another chance.
It's like a redo.
It's like a do-over.
A restart. Reverse. Sorry. I don't know why I thought of that, but
we like to sing the cha-cha slide sometimes.
cha-cha rules. Yeah, we play it all the time after the break.
Well, Parker, are we going to be, let's see.
Are we going to be cha-chaing real smooth, Carolina? Yes, we are. That's what you're going to say.
Into your forecast.
Yes, if you take a look at those temperatures right now, it's actually a cool one this morning. Take a look at the state temperatures. You can see this is actually off by a few degrees. It's actually, because you take a look, it's 45 degrees outside right now. So a couple degrees off right now, but it's going to warm up to a nice day today. It's supposed to be in the 70s, maybe 80s for some of the state. But if we take a look for the rest of this week, we're going to get a dry line coming on Thursday, or maybe Thursday evening, as this low is going to move out of Canada into the Great Lakes by Wednesday and Thursday. And that's going to spawn that cold front along the trough axis. And then eventually, at the bottom of that trough axis, we might get a weak low pressure system to develop at the bottom of that, and that's what's going to slingshot that dry air pocket around, creating that dry line that's going to be in our neck of the woods by Friday morning, probably Friday overnight on Friday morning. Well, take a look at that dry line. You can see it on the dew points map. Here is that dry air mass makes its way pretty much to the I-35 area by Thursday morning, and then eventually to our neck of the woods Friday morning and Thursday overnight. Well, ahead of that dry line, we might just see a shower or two develop around or ahead of that dry line, as that all that energy is in place. But the big shot for rain and thunderstorms is next week, pretty much all next week actually, as all this energy returns with the southerly flow out of the Gulf. Look at all that energy in place on southern Texas Tuesday afternoon. And that'll, like I said, be in place pretty much all next week. And we'll be taking a look at that especially close over the next few days as that approaches closer. But for now, back to you, Carolina.
Thank you, Parker. A large number of Israel Defense Forces troops and military equipment were seen at the Gaza Strip border on Sunday as the IDF prepares for ground maneuvers against Hamas. Israeli warplanes, helicopters, and armored vehicles gathered in Ashkelon on Sunday, a city in southern Israel, which is only a 5-minute drive from the northern part of Gaza. The Merkava main battle tanks were also seen within the military hardware convoy, which is designed to provide maximum protection for its crew. The IDF also deployed armored bulldozers capable of removing obstacles in the course of advancement, including detonation of mines. Many thousands of lives are lost on both sides of this conflict, but experts say a ground invasion by Israel would lead to many more deaths and injuries. President Joe Biden will be traveling to Israel Wednesday. It'll be Biden's second trip to an active war zone this year. Biden previously traveled to Ukraine back in February. Biden plans on meeting with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and other Israeli leaders to show he stands squarely with the country. The upcoming trip follows an invitation from Netanyahu, as the two leaders had spoken 5 times since Hamas launched its attack on October 7th, killing 1,400 people in Israel. We'll go to Washington for the details on the visit later on Sunrise. Now to the court ruling in one of the criminal cases involving former President Trump. This time, the judge's order affects what Trump can say about the case.
This morning, former President Trump firing back after being placed under a gag order in his federal election interference case. During a rally in Iowa last night, Trump saying he's willing to spend time behind bars.
What they don't understand is that I am willing to go to jail if that's what it takes for our country to win and become a democracy again.
The gag order imposed by the federal judge yesterday will limit what Trump can say about the case, about potential witnesses, and about the prosecutor, special counsel Jack Smith. Judge Tanya Chutkan saying, "I cannot imagine any other criminal case in which the defendant is permitted to call the prosecutor deranged or a thug. I will not permit it here." But the judge will still allow Trump to criticize President Biden and the Justice Department, and he can still make claims that the case is politically motivated. Trump has pleaded not guilty to conspiring to defraud the United States and obstruct the certification of the 2020 election. He argued his social media posts and statements about the case are protected political speech. Trump says he'll appeal the gag order. In the meantime, if he violates the order, it will be up to the judge to impose a penalty. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, New York.
A child is safe and back with family this morning after being kidnapped over the weekend by 3 people. The child's grandparent says the suspects came into their home without permission just after 6 a.m. Sunday and took the child. The suspects reportedly assaulted the grandparent before taking off. This all happened at a home in the 3000 block of Wildwood in Victoria. Now the suspects are in police custody this morning. 25-year-old Elisa Chavez faces robbery on top of 5 other misdemeanor charges. 22-year-old Christina Berger faces robbery charges as well. Berger was taken down on Cameron Street in Victoria. The bond for her is set at $100,000. Also in custody is 23-year-old Diego Serna. He's charged with kidnapping along with several other charges. His bond is set at $130,000. The child was returned to their mother unharmed, though they did kidnap the child. One of the parties involved was a member of the child's family. An aggravated assault suspect taken off the streets of Port O'Connor. The suspect was reportedly involved in an altercation at the Office Bar late Sunday night. 54-year-old Michelle Sellers brought down on charges of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. She's in the Lavaca County Jail on a $50,000 bond. A man was taken down on an outstanding warrant in Hallettsville Sunday. The warrant was out of McAllen for interference with child custody. Authorities discovered he was wanted during a traffic stop in the 500 block of East 4th Street. 32-year-old Derek Velasquez arrested and transported to the Lavaca County Jail. The bond for him is set at $10,000. NBC News will host the next GOP primary debate. The Republican National Committee's 3rd presidential debate will take place on Wednesday, November 8th in Miami, the day after Election Day. The committee will announce which candidates qualify to take part in the coming weeks. However, former President Trump has already said he plans to skip it. The debate starts at 7 p.m. Central Time. You'll be able to watch it on NBC. That leads us to your viewer poll. You can scan the QR code right there on your screen to take part. We ask you, are you going to watch the upcoming GOP debate? Okay, let's take a look. 29% of you, that's more than the last half hour, say yes. And 71% of you say no. We want to keep hearing from y'all. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part in our viewer poll. And remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. The time is now 6:38 on your Tuesday morning. Here's a look at what's coming up on 25 News Now Sunrise. Humanitarian aid convoys in El Arish are moving toward the Rafah border crossing in Gaza.
President Biden is set for travel today to the Middle East for crucial meetings as concerns grow that Israel's war with Hamas could spread in the region. I'm ABC's Justin Finch with details from Washington.
And we're going to be taking a look at that fishing forecast and the school bus forecast and that 7-day in just a few moments after the break. Good morning, Crossroads. Looking at a live look at Quare right there. Not a cloud in that sky, but as soon as that sun starts coming up, it's going to be a nice purple sky. That's why I always include this in the morning forecast. Well, if you're waking up right now, it's nice and cool right now. Maybe not nice, but it's quite cool out there. 44 degrees is that ambient temperature right now with the dew point of 41, though, bringing the humidity to an 89%. So that is something that we are, of course, familiar with down here on the coast. If you're sending your kiddos out to school, 44 is that morning temperature as they're heading out the door, so dress them cool for school. And as they're heading back home in the afternoon, it's supposed to be a nice day today, sunny and nice, with a 76-degree high in that afternoon. Well, look at the temperatures for the rest of the area. Mid-70s pretty much for all of our region today, maybe 75, 76 here in the Crossroads, 75, 76 pretty much everywhere else as well, like I was saying, mid-70s, making it a good day to go fishing. Take a look at that fishing forecast. We already had our high tide this morning at midnight, low tide at 1:28 in the afternoon, winds 5 to 10 knots out of the northeast, making those bays smooth and nice 1 to 2 feet seas. Well, in just a few moments, we're going to take a look at that 7-day and those warming up temperatures this week as that dry line passes. But for now, back to you, Carolina.
Thank you, Parker. Game 2 of the Lone Star Showdown is in the books. See who came out on top in sports.
After a close Game 1 in the American League Championship Series, Game 2 a much higher scoring affair. The Texas Rangers able to put up 4 runs in the first inning with Nathan Eovaldi on the mound, but Yordan Alvarez able to get Houston on the board with this big 420-foot bomb that was 109 miles an hour off the bat. And at the time, you thought maybe the Astros were back in it. But in the top of the third, Jonah Heim got the run right back, a solo homer of his own. But then a Breggy bomb and a second Yordan homer had Houston down just 1, but they fell 5-4. The Rangers now lead 2 games to none. While the Astros letting down a large portion of you guys, some area teams coming through every week, and the rankings show it. The Cuero Gobblers, who are still undefeated, remain ranked at number 4 in Class 4A. The Edna Cowboys, fresh off their Lavaca River Showdown, moving to number 6 in Class 3A. And for the Tidehaven Tigers, just another week. They remain at number 3 in the state in Class 3A. Just got done pitching yet another shutout. And last but certainly not least, the Refugio Bobcats remain at number 2 in Class 2A. The Dallas Cowboys also got the big victory. With your 25 Sports Now, I'm Zach Brown.
Still holding out hope for those Houston Astros. We'll see, Parker. All right, we want to invite y'all to experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. You can find it on your connected TV through Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV, and Android TV. Just search Crossroads Today Plus. Turning to Washington, where President Biden is gearing up for a series of high-stakes meetings in the Middle East. The White House confirms the president will leave today for talks with Israel's prime minister and several leaders in the region. Biden's travel into the war zone comes as the U.S. surges military assets in support of Israel and as the Israeli military readies for a ground assault on Hamas in Gaza.
High above Tel Aviv, Israel's Iron Dome air defense system intercepting a missile strike. Across the border, Hamas militants continuing to fire rockets into Israel, intensifying air assaults as President Biden is set to arrive in Israel tomorrow.
He's coming here at a critical moment for Israel, for the region, and for the world.
U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken announcing Biden's trip and reaffirming U.S. support of Israel's fight against Hamas. High security planned for the president's whirlwind agenda, expected to include meetings with Jordan's King Abdullah II, Egypt's President el-Sisi, and Palestinian Authority President Abbas. ABC's Martha Raddatz says Biden will also hold a critical bilateral meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
The administration has thus far been unable to convince the Israeli hardliners to consider the fate of innocent Palestinians in Gaza, and that they believe the only way to do it is for the president himself to come here.
The president heading to the combat zone as the Israeli military and Iran-backed Hezbollah militants clash at Israel's northern border. The U.S. quickly sending a second aircraft carrier to the region in hopes of preventing additional attacks. Meantime, families are holding out hope for loved ones held hostage.
I'm on vacation.
Hamas releasing video of 21-year-old Israeli hostage Mia Shem. She's heard saying, "I just ask that you'll bring me home as soon as possible to my family." Shem's family giving us permission to show these images. And here in the U.S., some 2,000 troops are now on alert for a possible deployment to the Middle East to serve in a wide array of roles, including intelligence and medical support. Justin Finch, ABC News, Washington.
The Israel Defense Forces early this morning said they are currently striking Hezbollah terror targets in Lebanon. This as U.S. leaders increase their show of support for Israel, sending a warning to other players in the region, namely Iran and its Hezbollah proxy in Lebanon, about becoming further engaged in the conflict between Israel and Hamas. Humanitarian aid convoys in El Arish are moving toward the Rafah border crossing in Gaza. That's from a state-affiliated media outlet. El Arish is about 27 miles from the Rafah border crossing. Earlier on Monday, Egypt's foreign minister says there is no progress in efforts to open the Rafah crossing between Egypt and Gaza, while the Israeli Prime Minister's office denied there were any arrangements for its opening. Airplanes carrying aid from Jordan, Turkey, the United Arab Emirates, and the World Health Organization and the Red Cross have arrived at El Arish since Thursday. The time is now 6:47 on your Tuesday morning. So to come, the price of Paxlovid likely to rise next year. Okay, time to celebrate some birthdays. Happy birthday to Diane. Happy 70th birthday to our beautiful mom. May God bless you with many more. We love you. Nikki, Raymond, Baba, Zakari, Micah, and Lee.
And chart-topping rapper Eminem with a birthday today. He's turning 51. Look at that. And to see your birthday wish live on 25 News Now Sunrise, come to crossroadstoday.com. Click on More, and under Home, you'll see KAVU to submit your birthday.
All right, the time is now 6:47 on our Tuesday morning.
Tuesday morning, we're almost halfway through the week already.
Happy birthday if you're celebrating one today.
Stay with us. We'll be right back. Well, good morning, Crossroads. Well, we have another weather poll for you this morning, and it's actually in theme with today being National Pasta Day. So let's take a look. In the movie Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, which food disaster destroys the island? I think it's Swallow Falls is the name of the island. Take a look. 20% of y'all are saying, or a fifth of y'all are saying pasta hurricane. 80% of y'all, 4/5 of y'all are saying macaroni volcano. None of y'all are saying spaghetti tornado or Alfredo blizzard. And the answer to that is a spaghetti tornado. I know it doesn't show up here, but the correct answer is a spaghetti tornado. That's what formed, completely destroyed the town. To vote on future weather polls, go to crossroadstoday.com/vote-weather and participate and see what everybody else is saying as well. Now we're going to take a look at what's going on this week. We're going to get another dry line this time. Not a cold front, a dry line is going to pass through our neck of the woods by Thursday evening into overnight, maybe or early morning Friday, as this low is going to actually spin this low is actually going to move out of Canada into the Great Lakes, and that is going to spawn that cold front. And basically at the bottom of that trough, we might get another low to develop, maybe a weaker one, and that's what's going to slingshot that dry pocket of air into our neck of the woods by Thursday night, Friday morning. As we take a look, and maybe ahead of that dry one, we might maybe see a shower or two develop. As you can see, that's the energy that's in place, but the big shot for showers and thunderstorms is pretty much all of next week. As we take a look on Tuesday, as that energy returns to the area with southerly flow, look at all that energy in place on Tuesday, pretty much throughout the entire state, and that energy will be sticking around throughout the rest of the area, throughout the rest of the state for pretty much the rest of the week. Well, we're going to take a look at that and more in that school bus forecast and that fishing forecast in just a few moments after this. Back to you, Carolina.
Thank you, Parker. The price of the life-saving COVID-19 medication Paxlovid is likely to rise next year. This as the U.S. continues to transition out of the emergency phase of the pandemic that has some doctors concerned it will become less accessible. The antiviral drug will move from being available free to everyone through government purchases to a more traditional commercial marketplace for most patients at the end of this year. That's from the Department of Health and Human Services and drug maker Pfizer. The new price, the cost before insurance, is not set, but it's expected to be higher than the $530 per course price paid by the government. People who are on Medicare or Medicaid or who are uninsured will still be able to get Paxlovid for free through 2024 via a patient assistance program, but those with commercial insurance are likely to face a copay. The White House is reviewing an FDA plan to ban menthol cigarettes and flavored cigars. Approval from the Office of Management and Budget is the last step before finalization, although exactly when that could happen isn't known. Scientists say menthol makes smoking more addictive and appealing to young people. In fact, the CDC reports more than half of children who smoke use menthol products. The American Lung Association is hailing the FDA's proposed ban. Experts predict the tobacco industry will fight it in court if it gets final approval. One study suggests a U.S. menthol ban could save more than 500,000 lives in 40 years. Still to come on Sunrise News to Know Before You Go. A pastor's 2-year-old son accidentally shot in the head. A pastor's 2-year-old son was accidentally shot in the head after a church service in North Carolina Sunday night. The pastor says another son got a hold of his gun in the back of his vehicle and accidentally shot his 2-year-old brother. The boy was airlifted to a hospital and underwent surgery. His father says the bullet did not hit the toddler's brain and he is still able to talk and move. 4 people were hurt during a shooting in Maryland. The 4 men were gathered together in a neighborhood when they were shot. Police say their injuries are considered serious but not life-threatening. It's unknown how many gunmen were involved or if the victims knew the shooter. Police are asking people to avoid the area while the investigation is ongoing. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is in Jordan today. The visit is part of Blinken's diplomatic efforts to contain the Middle East conflict. Secretary Blinken announced that President Biden will travel to Israel and then on to Jordan Wednesday to meet with both Israeli and Arab leaders. President Biden is looking to send the strongest message yet. The U.S. is behind Israel. Lavaca County commissioners lifted the burn ban in that area. Authorities asking to please use extreme caution when burning and only when weather conditions allow. The burn ban was put into effect in Lavaca County July 10th. More than a year after the U.S. Supreme Court's overturning of Roe v. Wade, Texas continues to be the largest state in the nation to ban nearly all abortions. Read about how new state laws have impacted abortion and birth control access in Texas by reading this story by the Texas Tribune on our website, crossroadstoday.com. And we want to invite y'all to experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. You can find it on your connected TV through Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV, and Android TV. Just search Crossroads Today Plus. And now we turn to First Warn Storm Team meteorologist Parker Cox for a look at that forecast. Good morning, Parker.
Good morning, Carolina. And it is a cool one right now. As we're waking up right now, look at that purple sky. That's why I love including this on my forecast. 44 is that morning temperature right now. Nice cool one right now with a 41 dew point, bringing it a little bit humid out there. But it's supposed to warm up to a nice 70, pretty much mid-70s for all of the area today, eventually cooling to the 50s overnight. But the talk this week is we're going to have a dry line coming on Thursday evening into Friday morning as this low is going to move into the Great Lakes. And that's going to spawn that cold front. And basically along that trough axis, there will be another low developing at the bottom of that trough. And that's what's going to slingshot that dry pocket of air around to our neck of the woods and bringing that dry line by Thursday evening. And we might maybe see a shower or two develop ahead of that dry line, but the big shot for rain chances is next week as we get all that energy back in place by Tuesday, and that's going to stick around for pretty much the rest of the week. Now take a look at that 7 day. It's going to be warming up just a little bit over the next few days ahead of that dry line, basically into the 90s this weekend. That's it for the weather today. You have an awesome Tuesday today. Back to you, Carolina.
Thank you, Parker, and thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful Tuesday. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today, and join James, Don, Matt, Karina, and Gina today for 25 News at 5, 6, and 10. It's National Pasta Day.